All right, good morning, everybody. Hello. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. How's everyone doing today? What's up? What's up? Today is going to be a good streaming day for sure. Today is Tuesday, the 15th of June, 2021. I'm DSP. I welcome you here to my first of two streams. And we can talk a little bit about that because the second stream tonight, quite frankly, probably is going to be up in the air because I know that what I have planned is not going to take the whole stream, so I'm curious what you guys want to see. First of all, before we get started, welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a good day away from my streams yesterday as I was off from streaming. Excuse me. I had a good day, although it was a tiring day as usual, where Kat and I were running around doing as much as humanly possible in a short period of time. We actually came home early from being out to try to relax and then ended up doing so many things around the house, like vacuuming and cleaning and everything, that we really didn't get a chance to relax. Like Kat said, I'm going to play some Dragon Quest. I'm like, good, play some Dragon Quest. I can help you out. I like watching you play games. She boots it up, played it for like an hour, and got tired. Like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm falling asleep. I'm like, oh, jeez. And not the game, it's that we were just tired from being out and about and running around and doing all this stuff. By the way, everyone take a look at the stream quickly. You'll see a new animation. Shout out to the person who made it. I don't want to specifically reference them because they didn't ask for a specific verbal shout out. And we all know what happens. Sadly, if you actually give someone a shout out by name these days, the trolls try to find them on the internet because they're losers. So I'm not going to do that. But I will say thank you to that person because they've been trying to get that animation to work for several days. And it kept glitching out. I guess what it is they had it working in their software, but it wouldn't work in OBS. OBS, for some reason, wouldn't run it properly. So they had to go back and redo it a few times, but now it looks awesome, right? Pretty cool. It's only the second moving animation that we have here on the pre-streams or breaks here for my YouTube streams. It's really awesome, so shout out to that person. Thank you for making it. It looks really cool. It's going to be a great new addition for sure to the rotation. All right, good stuff. So I hope you all had a good day away yesterday. Certainly I didn't miss anything because, as we all know, E3 is officially over now. And I say that because there's really nothing else going on besides Bandai Namco, which isn't going to really count for anything anyway because it's only presenting one game. So E3's over, and it's the most underwhelming, ridiculously silly E3 ever. It was just a non-event. Like, as I said, there's really no purpose to E3 anymore. And 90% of the things that were presented at E3 were a waste of time. It was really only, in my opinion, the Microsoft Bethesda press conference and the Nintendo Direct from this morning were the two things that actually had any meaning to them. They were actually interesting and were good because they presented new games and new things about games. Everything else was a waste. Everyone else, Capcom, failed. Ubisoft, terrible. Square Enix, completely laughably bad. I could go on and name every company, but every company that did something was just a joke. Take-Two didn't even do a real E3 press conference. I don't even know what they were doing. I don't know what happened. So, what a non-event this week has been. Because, guys, originally what I was going to do on Saturday a best and worst of Summer Games Fest and E3 podcast event, where I was going to go through everything that happened to E3, tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and I was going to update my game schedule. The way I see it now, even if I did that podcast, number one, it wouldn't even be that long because almost nothing of value was discussed at E3. Number two, I already did an in-depth video about Microsoft Bethesda, and that's really the only major positives, again, besides Nintendo this morning, which would be, not that long. And it's just be a waste of time. Like, this whole year's E3 was a waste of time. That's what I feel like. Microsoft Bethesda and Nintendo could have just done their own events and not said they were part of E3, and it would have been just as valuable, and we wouldn't have had to sit through a bunch of worthless events that were just a waste of everyone's time. So, can we just end E3 now? I mean it. Like, can we just end it and stop acting like it has any value or meaning? Because it doesn't. These companies, if they have something to present, they should do it. They should come out and say, okay, here's our digital presentation where we have a bunch of fun stuff to announce. If they don't have anything, they shouldn't be pressured into attending E3 and or having something to show you on the internet that they don't have anything. Like, I couldn't tell, like, Capcom. Capcom literally said, here's some Monster Hunter expansions, here's a collection of Phoenix Wright, and here's some gameplay of the new Phoenix Wright. And that didn't need a presentation. That could have been, 2 videos that they separately put out on the internet. We didn't need a time to sit down and watch Capcom do a presentation. This is so stupid at this point. Why are we pretending that this is like pertinent now? I just don't get it. So let's stop with this nonsense. That's what I mean. Like, yearly, I would cover E3, and it was a big event, an annual event. Everyone looked forward to me giving my opinions on E3. At this point, there's nothing even to give an opinion on. It was it was pretty much a waste of everyone's time. So here's how I'm going about it. I'm changing up the schedule this week. Every day that I'm here, the next 5 days, so I'm here for 5 straight streaming days, is going to be full of gameplay. We're not going to bullshit. We're not going to waste time doing a podcast that's going to be a waste of everyone's time when there's really not that much to talk about that I haven't talked about already. So if you guys want to talk about the Nintendo Direct today, by all means, let's do that. I'd love to talk about what we should, like, for example, Metroid Dread looks really good to me, and I'm actually very interested in playing it. WarioWare looks ridiculous. Why would anyone pay $50 to $60 for a bunch of mini games that are the same kind of games you probably played 10, 15 years ago on, like, the Nintendo DS? See, I have opinions, and I can give you said opinions during my streams. There's no reason for me to do a separate show for it at this point. But what I would like to do at some point is sit down and go through the game schedule and update it. Because that's one of the things that I'm lacking right now is I need to update my game's release schedule for the rest of the year. And we did get a significant amount of new release dates over the course of this last week that I could definitely update, a calendar and say, okay, here's all the games coming out, in the next 2-3 months that I'm interested in. So that way we know what we're looking at. Because right now, we got, like, nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even have a schedule to work with. I'm taking a look here, and, after Mario Golf Super Rush coming out on June 25th, the next thing I have is the Skyward Sword remake on July 16th, Kena Bridge of Spirits in August. Now, I know that there's more than that because, like I said, actually, we had a big update in regards to game release dates. So here's what I'm thinking, all right? Bear with me. Later tonight on the late stream, it's the conclusion of Pokemon. It's a new Pokemon Snap. From what I'm to understand, there's only 1 to 2 stages left in the whole game. Okay, like, it's maybe one more stage and then the final boss, or it might just be, I say the final boss, there's no bosses in this game, it's just, you're going to the Illumina Pokemon and taking pictures or whatever, okay? So, tonight's late stream may very well, we may be done with the gameplay content of it within a very short time frame. So if that's the case, okay, I think what we're going to do is we are going to swap over and go through a game release schedule for the rest of the year, now that the dates are all out there. So what I'll probably do is between the streams here, between my Fallout stream, which is what this stream is right now, and the new Pokemon Snap stream later tonight, I'll probably sit down, go to a couple gaming websites, and go through the game schedule and populate my release schedule of the games that I want to play and I'm interested in. And so we'll very briefly finish new Pokemon Snap tonight on the late stream, swap over, and we'll do a fun, interactive podcast where basically I just go through the game schedule so we know exactly what we're looking at for the rest of the year. And then we could just kind of talk about those releases for the rest of the night. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. I hope that sounds good to you. It's something different, obviously. And that way, once that's done, we don't really have to worry about doing a podcast or anything for the rest of the week. What we'll do is we'll do gameplay for the rest of the week. Okay? So here we go. Hold on a second here. I need to bring up the schedule. Let's see. Here it is. All right, so let's talk. Today, June 15th, the first stream is going to be Fallout New Vegas right now, which I'm excited for. These Fallout New Vegas streams have been great, guys. They have been. They've been very entertaining. A lot of exploration, chill, fun, interaction, a lot of glitches, because we know the game has this unique charm where the glitches are just so funny, right? Yeah, I'm having a really good time with it. So I hope you guys are too. And I'm really looking forward to today's stream. Okay? Later tonight, we'll finish new Pokemon Snap on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Once it's done, we'll switch over and we'll do a game release schedule update and just kind of a unpacking podcast where we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about from Summer Games Fest or E3. We just chill and talk a little bit tonight on the late stream. Okay? Tomorrow, we'll go back to full-time gaming. It'll be Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart as the major stream. MLB The Show will be a late-night chill stream. Thursday will be Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition continuing, and then my Call of Duty weekly stream. Friday, we could either do Fallout New Vegas or Ratchet and Clank, and the late stream will be Street Fighter. And then Saturday, whatever we didn't do on Friday, we'll play. And then Saturday night will be Danganronpa. Oh, excuse me. Saturday night... Now I've confused myself, because Saturday night was supposed to be Danganronpa, but I made it Virtua Fighter. Yeah, Saturday night is supposed to be Danganronpa, and then I was going to do Virtua Fighter next week, like Monday. Yeah, so I screwed the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule that I posted on Sunday night. I'm like, wait a minute, that was supposed to be Danganronpa on Saturday night. Yeah, that's going to be Danganronpa. Okay. So there you go. That's the schedule. 5 straight days. So we're going to have 2 streams of Fallout, 2 streams of Ratchet and Clank, and the chill streams at night every night. Sunday is my day off from this week. All right, when I return on Monday, we will continue on again as usual with all of these playthroughs. And also that week, it should be the last week of June, that week is Mario Golf releasing. So that could be exciting. I'm very excited for that because it's going to be an interesting game and balance it with all the other playthroughs I'm doing. So the end of this month should be pretty interesting. Even though, admittedly, I'll say this, I am a little disappointed because usually E3 week is a week where we get a bunch of releases that kind of come out of nowhere and you get excited for them. That didn't really happen this year. In fact, a lot of the games that I'm looking forward to are coming out in like August, you know, stuff like that. But at least now we have release dates for them. But I was hoping that 12 Minutes like would come out this week or something. But no, not this year. This year was the year of disappointment, I guess. You guys do realize, everyone's saying play the Final Fantasy Origins demo. You do realize that it didn't work for the longest time. Now it works and it's terrible, right? Like, you realize that. Everyone asking me for something that's god-awful, and it's going to be a waste of everyone's time. Everyone's going to hate it. Like, I'd much rather just talk with you guys tonight about the games release schedule for the rest of the year and talk about the games that we saw these announcements for, rather than play a terrible demo of a game that's obviously not finished and very rough around the edges, right? Okay, then. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. Sounds good? I hope so. I'm excited. I was very excited to come back today because right now everything I'm doing is good. Like I'm having a ton of fun with Fallout with you guys. Ratchet and Clank's good. After that second session the other day, I had so much fun. I can't wait to play it again tomorrow. Mass Effect 3 is cool because I don't remember the game. It's like playing the game for the first time because I don't even remember it. And all the chill streams at night have been fun too. Like everything's been good. So I don't have a single complaint. I'm having fun every stream now. And that's a good thing. You know, I hate to say it, but taking Divinity 2 out of the rotation is definitely the right choice. Because I was just not enjoying it. You know, it was just really feeling to me like the one thing I was forcing myself to play, few and far between. And now that it's on hiatus, I'm so happy that I don't have to fucking play that. Seriously, I'm sorry, but I know there's people who will love that franchise. And as I said while playing it, I understand why. There's a lot of good things there. But it's just not the kind of game that works for me, you know? Too slow moving, incredibly detailed, way over the top gameplay engine that just takes so much time investment that I'm not having fun with it, you know? So. Alright. So let's see. Outside of that, I'm just trying to think, is there anything else? So what's today? Today's the 15th. We're officially halfway through. Oh, I love this new animation. There it is again. I love this one. We're officially halfway through the month of June, guys. Okay? And it's been a great month so far. I'm actually looking forward more to the second half, now that we're in a bunch of playthroughs that I'm really enjoying. We are at 181 channel members, alright? We started off the month under 150. So the good news is we have seen good growth to the channel memberships this month. However, we are lagging behind hitting our goal of 250 memberships by the end of the month. How does this work? Well, we need to hit 250 concurrent memberships. If we do that, I'm going to be doing a special marathon event on which you guys are going to be trying to choose what to do. I was going to give you guys the power to choose. It was either going to be an Indies event, or it was going to be the Return of the Rageathon, or it was going to be a retrospective event. I figured I'd let you vote to determine what it would be, and then you guys could nominate and vote on the stuff that we would do during said event. All right? I love doing the marathon events, but this is the first time I'm now full-time live streaming on YouTube, and this is the first time that we are doing a members goal, okay? And I am pleased with the growth we're having. People are absolutely becoming members that have not been before, but at this point, you know, we are not even getting close to the 250, all right? So, let's talk. First of all, what do you get towards the goal? I mean, what do you get towards... Boy, I can't speak today. What do you get for becoming a member? What's the benefit? First of all, you get a green highlighted name in the chat, so you stand out in the chat. Number two, you don't have to abide by slow mode. A lot of you know, I have my chat on slow mode, 10-second slow mode. You don't have to abide by that if you're a member. Number three, you get a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a channel supporter. All right, and pretty soon you guys are going to be renewing. I believe it was just about 1 month ago when I started doing full-time streaming here on YouTube. So some of you guys will be renewing your memberships soon. And when you do, it should upgrade to a silver crown this time. Okay? In addition to that, you get access to now 17 emotes and counting. Because when we hit every 25 new members, we unlock a new emote. So when we hit 200 members, there'll be another new emote added. And again, I always pull you guys to ask what you guys would like here on the streams. Okay? So all these benefits, please consider becoming a channel member. All right? By the way, it's cheaper to become a channel member here than it ever was over on Twitch. I made it less expensive, but because YouTube takes less of a cut, I still make the same amount on every sub. Yeah, the same as if I were doing this on Twitch. So I get more benefit from your cheaper subscription / membership, because it's called a membership here. Pretty cool. So, please consider becoming a channel member if you can. Thank you in advance to anyone who does. All right, I really appreciate that. Now, one final thing that I'll say before we move on to say game news and some of my opinions on some of the stuff that's happened this morning with the Nintendo Direct. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the final week where basically I have to rely on tips for income, 100%. Not to say that tips won't be an important part of my income after that, they absolutely will be. But the next week, the only income I have is from tips. Okay, that's it. I'm not getting any payment or anything from anyone else. Now, the good news is, after this week passes, I am going to receive my first payment from YouTube. All right. And that means that I'll start having consistent income on a monthly basis from YouTube for things like your super chats and your memberships. So things essentially will get back to normal. All right. They will. They will get back to normal in about a week. It's still going to be tight, don't get me wrong. There's no way I'm making as much here on YouTube streaming as I was on Twitch, because just the dip in subs alone is a huge difference. But I'll still be back on track to being okay. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because a couple days ago, Microsoft had their press conference with Bethesda, and I said, man, I need to get an Xbox Series X. And you idiots, how could you afford that, man? You can't even pay your bills, man. It's like, dude. Have you not been fucking listening to every stream that I've done? Like, obviously they don't. They're just idiots. They have selective hearing because they're morons. I've been saying, in one more week, I start getting paid by YouTube. Then things will get back on track to be how they used to be. You see? But I have to get to that week. That's the catch, is I have to get through this next week being reliant on tips. And right now, I can tell you, in 5 days, I have a big back taxes payment with the federal government that I have to pay. And I have to raise that within 5 days. Then I need to raise money to actually have my day off on Sunday to go grocery shopping and the like. So, basically, that's my goal this week, is to put out entertaining streams and try to raise as much as I can in tips the last week where I have to worry about this. Then after that, you won't hear me talking about it constantly anymore. I promise you, I won't have to. I'll be like, hey, guys, you can tip, you can do a member, you can super chat, you can do whatever you want. It's all welcome. Thanks so much. And I won't have to fucking worry so much about it anymore. But I have to get to that point. We're almost there. The light at the end of the tunnel is coming. okay? So, if you guys want to help me in the biggest possible way, all right, please tip me if you can, all right? Tips are the best way to support the channel right now. Even though I will still give you a shout out if you become a member or you do a super chat, I appreciate those. Those will help me long term. I'll see benefit from those next month. This week, I'm solely focused on tips to pay these bills, okay? Fair enough? So please, if you can, tip me. How do you tip? Look at the description of the stream, and there's a link. Or you can type !tip into the stream chat, and the link will pop up. Either way is appreciated. Now, just a quick heads up. If you could verify your PayPal account, please do. The other day during the Virtua Fighter stream, we had someone come on here who really wanted to support me and did a ginormous tip, but they had an unverified PayPal account. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't accept it. You know, you're talking almost a $200 tip came in. And this guy didn't, without having the verified PayPal account, they could potentially charge me back. And then I have zero protections against it. I wouldn't be able to dispute it with PayPal or nothing. So that's why I need to have that verification protection. If you could, please verify your PayPal account if you are going to do a tip. Okay? Fair enough. All right. So there you go. Thank you guys very much. Please tip me if you can. Thank you in advance for the support. Now, before we get to shout-outs, because already a bunch of tips have come in that I want to shout out this morning, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct. Yeah, I would talk about yesterday, but there's literally nothing happened yesterday. I was not here, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing out because I'm not here for Capcom and Take-Two. Capcom had the worst event ever, apparently. Okay. Like, literally had the worst event ever. It was Phoenix Wright, both a collection of the old games, plus, I guess, the new one coming up, right? And Monster Hunter DLCs, and then they said, oh, we are going to do a DLC expansion for Resident Evil Village, even though originally we weren't planning to do it. We're going to do it now. But that was it. Like, that was the whole presentation. There was nothing that anyone actually wanted. No, in particular, everyone wanted fighting games updates. No one got anything. No fighting game information at all. Nothing about anything new with Resident Evil. Nothing about, no Devil May Cry. You know what I mean? Like, I could go through all their franchises. They didn't do nothing. It was a worthless presentation. They might as well not have one. Don't even get me started on Take-Two, which wasn't even a gaming presentation. Why they felt the need to do that, I have no idea. They could have easily just said, we're doing this internally as a company. We don't need to do this publicly. There's no point to that show at all. Okay? So, yeah, it was a complete waste of everyone's time yesterday. Boy, did I pick the right day to have the day off. I mean, seriously, did I pick the right day to have off? Because there was nothing going on yesterday. Okay? Today, not so much. Today, we had Nintendo Direct. And I will admit, I think it was pretty good. I mean, it didn't actually have everything everyone wanted, because they never will. But what did it have? Well, there's a new WarioWare game coming out. And for those who like WarioWare, since there hasn't been one in so long, I'm sure you guys are thrilled. But for me, it's like, I played WarioWare. I had one. I believe it was on the original DS. I actually really liked the game. But I'm thinking about in 2021, buying WarioWare for the Switch for like $50, $60 and playing a bunch of mini games. I'm kind of scratching my head like, you know, WarioWare was great when it was a new game gimmick for the DS, because the DS was a new piece of hardware and everyone wanted unique stuff for it. Like, I can't imagine myself paying $50, $60 to play a bunch of mini games on my Switch. You know, I just don't see the point. Even though I'm sure it'll be funny. There is a new Metroid game that looks good to me. What it is, it's actually Metroid 5. That's right. It's actually a canon numbered entry in the Metroid franchise rather than spin-offs. It's called Metroid 5 Dread. And it plays like the old Metroid games with modern graphics, but it has Nemesis. That's right. The actual giant lumbering zombie is chasing you throughout the planet. No, that's not correct. There's no crossover between Capcom and Nintendo in that regard, but there's basically a robot chasing you around as you're doing your Metroidvania-style gameplay, and apparently the robot cannot be defeated. It can only be slowed down. So essentially, you have Nemesis coming after you. That's what it is. That's the premise of the game. It's taking a modern twist to the Metroidvania plot, you know? And it looks good to me, although a lot of people are shitting on it. And it kind of throws me for a loop, because I'm like, so it's classic Metroidvania with modern gameplay graphics and modern gameplay design, a cool twist, and people are shitting on it because it's not Metroid Prime 4. Because that's all it is. People want Metroid Prime 4, and they want news of Metroid Prime 4, and they didn't get it. So instead, they're just going to crap on what was presented when that actually looked good to me. Now, here's the thing, guys. I usually don't play Metroidvania games. Every single time that I've tried to do this on my streams, it's failed. I'm going to repeat that. In the 13 years that I have played video games on the internet, every time I've played a Metroidvania-style game, it has failed. People complain that it's boring, it's not fun to watch, it's not engaging. But for Metroid Dread, I think I'm going to make an exception and play it anyway. Because number one, it actually is a new release that's a canon entry in the Metroid series. And number two, it looks great to me. And I want to play games that I think are good. Okay? So, it looks good to me. I actually want to play it. And when it comes out, again, I don't know the exact release date. I don't know if it has one or not. But I really want to play this game. And I think I'm going to play it. So, I'm going to forewarn everyone, if you don't like Metroidvania, then don't come to those streams. Seriously. Like, this looks good to me. I really want to play this game, and I'm not going to hold myself back and say, oh, I'm just going to not play games that I'm interested in and I think I'll have fun with, because you're going to have a bunch of whiners saying that it's boring. Like, dude, I do so many kinds of games. You know? So, anyway. That's Metroid. Why am I having a brain fart now? Hold on a second here. I'm trying to think what they presented this morning. I know there's Breath of the Wild 2, but we'll talk about that at the end, because that was the thing that they presented at the very end. Oh, that's right. A new Smash Brothers character, right? Kazuya Mishima from Tekken. So now it's interesting, because now Smash Brothers has Street Fighter characters, Pac-Man, Tekken characters, Mega Man. Also has characters from the King of Fighters series and Terry Bogard. So technically you have Capcom versus SNK versus Tekken, all in the same game now. Which is really silly. But at the same time, for those who like Smash Brothers, perhaps you're excited for that. I haven't cared about Smash in a very, 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 very long time. So in that regard, you know, don't really care. I guess, so I've never played this franchise that a lot of people tell me about. It's called Advanced Wars. I've never played it before, but they're apparently repackaging and remastering Advanced Wars 1 and 2 to release them in a collection coming up. Now, I don't know anything about that franchise at all, so I can't comment on if it's good or not or something that I'd be interested in. I guess it would be more about you guys who've played it before. Do you guys think that that would be something interesting for me to play? Okay. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming up in November. Now, people have actually educated me on this franchise over the last few days, because I talked about it on stream the other day, and I told you guys I'm completely uneducated about it. I don't know too much about it, all right? So from what I'm going to understand, now correct me if I'm wrong, while the Persona franchise focuses usually in on a group of students in high school and focuses in on their development and their personal stories, Shin Megami Tensei is more of a franchise that bases more on an overwhelming plot arc. It doesn't really matter about the individual characters. And it's a much darker plot line where I guess the world gets overrun usually with some kind of evil, and you have to use these persona fusions and things to try to fight against it. From what I understand, it's even more adult-oriented than Persona is, to some extent, from what people have told me. But also I've heard the game is much more difficult. Yeah, that apparently it's like way more challenging than Persona is, okay? Now, people are asking me, am I interested in Shin Megami Tensei? Yeah, I can't speak. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Am I interested in it? Yes, I am. But I don't know if I'm going to play it. Couple reasons. First of all, it comes out in November. That's going to be amidst so many other new releases, you know, that are going to be popular, and it's going to be pretty difficult, I feel, to play an incredibly lengthy, challenging JRPG and balancing it with all of that other stuff. Then again, I've done it before. You know, like take a look at Yakuza 7 last year. That's exactly what I did. The other thing is, I'm not sure what other games are coming out between now and then. And if I'm locked into another RPG at the time, and by the way, Divinity 2 is on hiatus, I don't even care about that. I'm serious. Like, it doesn't even factor into my head right now. I'm so glad Divinity 2 is not in my thought process right now, that I can focus on everything else. Because now I can look at the future and be like, oh, I can play all these games and I don't have to worry about Divinity 2 hanging over my fucking head. So, that's good. But anyway, you know, to me, what I'm worried about is doing too much at once and if there's another JRPG coming out between now and November and I'm still playing it and I don't finish it, then I don't think that taking on an RPG like that would make sense. At the same time, I don't know what's coming out. I think there's a new Tales of game, but I have no idea when that comes out. See what I mean? I have to sit down and I have to look at the new game release calendar now that we have all the release dates. And I need to make that, populate that, and I think we're going to go over that tonight. I think that's what the late stream is going to be tonight after I finish new Pokemon Snap. It's just sitting down and going through the release calendar and saying, okay, here's all the games that I'm interested in, and we can look at time frames and see. Because again, this is a new Shin Megami Tensei game, right? It's a brand new one, Part 5. So if I'm to jump into the franchise, obviously I should jump in now and see if I like it. But I don't know if I'm going to like it. And I don't want to commit to it so early if I don't know that much about it and I don't know what else is coming out. Okay? So I'm definitely considering it. It's a definite, maybe. But I'm not going to commit to it yet. Okay? Now, Breath of the Wild 2, I only saw a few glimpses of it. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole trailer for it. First of all, it's coming out next year, which I'm okay with. We didn't need to have it rushed out this year. I'm happy with it coming out in 2022. A lot of people are saying it looks like it looks like it makes sense now that Skyward Sword is coming out next month remastered, because apparently this game has elements from Skyward Sword in it, like you ride a bird. And people are like, it looks like that's like directly from Skyward Sword. So obviously they want people who did not play Skyward Sword over a decade ago to play the game, so they have that prerequisite gameplay so that when they play this one, it feels more natural. I guess that makes sense. A lot of people played Breath of the Wild and had never played previous Zelda games. It's true. Breath of the Wild was kind of a gateway game for a lot of people to get into the Zelda franchise because of the Switch. So, interesting enough, right? To me, it looks like Breath of the Wild to me. I'll be honest. It looks kind of like Breath of the Wild. I didn't see, outside of maybe combining mechanics from Skyward Sword, it looks kind of the same. But I'm okay with that. Breath of the Wild was an outstanding game. The only thing I'm concerned about, I just hope it runs better. Because remember, both on the Wii U and the Switch, the game had a lot of frame rate issues. So I just hope that they maybe have optimized how the game's going to run. Right? But outside of that, having floating islands, having a bird to fly you around those islands and everything, it kind of a combination of the two franchises looks good to me. Right? I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I'm excited for it. So... Don't forget to mention the Zelda Game & Watch. All right, the most hilarious part about the Nintendo Direct this morning is that there was so much hype on the internet that they were like, did you know Nintendo's going to present the new Switch Pro? Yo, the Switch Pro is going to be announced. New hardware, bro. So the Nintendo Bro Army were all excited for a Switch Pro announcement. And then they presented the Zelda Game & Watch. They're like, wow, the Switch Pro looks way different than we anticipated. That's hilarious. That's pretty hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, the Direct, in my opinion, was excellent. I thought that was a good Direct. I mean, sure, it didn't have any crazy blockbusters like, oh, here's the new Mario game or here's the new Mario Kart. No, it didn't have that. But for what was presented, I thought that it was quite good. Like I said, that Metroid, I'm very excited for. That looks good to me, like really solidly good. And some franchises getting these updates or whatever. Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks like a good game coming out, a good announcement for the Switch. So looked good to me. I mean, and it's funny because another year I might have said, "Oh, that presentation sucked," but the standard this year is lowered so much. The expectations, everyone else was so bad that Nintendo actually looks looking like roses this year. It's good. So, okay, so that's the deal. That's what happened with the Direct this morning. Now, the only other thing going on is Bandai Namco is going to have a presentation today. But, huge but, they're only presenting one game, House of Ashes. Now, what is House of Ashes? Exactly. What game is that? Because I think I'm getting confused. I'm getting this confused with another game in my head for some odd reason. But it's hilarious because everyone on the internet is posting up, oh, Bandai Namco will save us. They're going to have this. This is like, wait, it literally says on their release, Bandai Namco presents House of Ashes. Like, that's their presentation. That's it. There's nothing else in it. It's just one game. I don't know why people think Bandai Namco is going to be anything else. It says right on there, we're only presenting one game today. So, why? That's what I mean. Like, House of Ashes? No, it's not House of Ashes. That's a different kind of game. What is House of Ashes? It's a Dark Pictures anthology game. Am I correct? If it is, I mean that's good. I'm curious. I'm excited for that. Is that what it is? Because I mean that's Halloween week or the week before Halloween. That's going to be a great game. Last year, Little Hope was outstanding. Cool. So that's what it is. So here's what's going to happen. Bandai Namco is going to go live with their presentation. It's probably going to be like 10 minutes talking about House of Ashes, and then it's going to end, and people are going to be like, "Oh, that sucked." They're like, "Dude, but they told you ahead of time what it was. They said they didn't have anything else this year." All right, cool. However, House of Ashes, now that could be a completely different kind of game. That one might actually sell. I'm just saying. Fatal Frame coming to the Switch, I really don't care. Last time I played a Fatal Frame game, it was boring as shit and everyone hated it. Remember? You guys remember years ago? This was many years ago. So a new Fatal Frame game, I think it was Fatal Frame 5, released as a Wii U exclusive. I dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and I said, I'm going to play this game for Halloween. I played it for 2 hours, and people were incredibly bored and told me it was the worst Halloween event I'd ever done because the game sucked. Yeah. So that was a flop. Yeah, people are saying it's the same game. It's a Wii U port. I'm definitely not playing that then. People said it sucked the first time around when it was a new release. Why the hell would I waste another day playing that? All right. That was years ago? You're correct. That was years ago, right? How many years ago? I don't know. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do shout-outs, guys. Let's get started. We start off today with a very generous tip from Team Ico Gamer that I really much appreciate because it gets us started on the right foot here today. $50 tip. Thank you so much, Team Ico Gamer. He says, I enjoyed your summary of the Square press conference. I wonder if they fixed the demo for that Strangers of Paradise game. I missed some New Vegas, so here's to another awesome stream. Yes. So here's what happened. Square Enix press conference, went down and they announced an actual Final Fantasy 1 spin-off game where essentially I guess it's supposed to be like a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1, or perhaps not. It's not really clear what the game was from what they presented at their conference, but then they said, oh, the demo, will be coming live soon. Out of nowhere, the demo hit on PlayStation Network immediately. Like right after the conference ended, the demo launched. So people ran to get it and downloaded it. It didn't work. It was corrupted. They uploaded a corrupted file to PlayStation 5. So no one could play it. So apparently yesterday during the day, they did fix the demo. And people who've played it said it's one of the worst things ever. Like, it's really bad. It's not entertaining at all. It's very rough around the edges. Doesn't look very good. And basically people are like, why did they release this now? They should have waited until the game maybe was more done or more polished, because this just makes the game look bad. At least that seems to be the mentality on the internet right now. Maybe, that's what I saw. Maybe I'm wrong, but in general, more than a few people said that on the internet. So, I'm not really interested in wasting my time on a bad demo. I downloaded it. I have it on my PS4, or excuse me, my PS5. But why would I waste time playing it with something I know is bad because everyone says it is, All right, an anonymous $1.30 tipper tipped me here. Thank you to the anonymous $1.30 tipper. Then we had Playcool18 who tipped me $1.30. So it seems like a lot of downtime this summer to me. Perfect to try out Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remaster on PS4. It's not full priced either. Be interesting with Atlas releasing Shin Megami Tensei 5 in November. I think you're in for a surprise. I don't think that's happening. Listen, if Shin Megami Tensei was a 20-hour game, then I would maybe say sure. But we all know how long these games are. Committing to like a 60 to 80-hour playthrough just to say, oh, now I'm playing the new game right after it is a very bad idea. I know from experience. You can't do a lengthy game and then immediately play an incredibly similar lengthy game, especially if it's the same franchise. It would kill all interest. People would not care. So I'm definitely not doing that. But I appreciate the tip and I appreciate the suggestion. Viper Higgins tipped me $1.30 and said, you have a thumbnail for your Microsoft Bethesda press conference wiping your nose disgustingly. Come on, man. Are you asking to be trolled? Oh, my God. You actually think I set the thumbnails, don't you? Do you actually think that, like, I sit here and I micromanage every video I upload to YouTube and I stare at the thumbnails and painstakingly select the frame that I want? Do you actually think I care? Like, listen, I've been on the internet for 13 years. I revealed my face to the world in 2009. There's many, many thousands upon thousands of embarrassing frames of me on the internet. You know, there's one particular frame that's really embarrassing. I don't think me wiping my nose is such a big concern at all. I'm not vain. I'm not an idiot who thinks that I'm good looking and I need to have the best frame selected. If you didn't notice, I don't even do a thumbnail for that shit because I don't care. I'm not one of these fucking people that follows the YouTube formula for success. Edit a thumbnail to have you doing a wacky face superimposed over giant neon letters, and then people will clickbait your fucking videos. No, I don't care about that shit. I don't. Okay? So, please understand that, no, that's not a concern for me in any way, shape, or form. No one cares. I've already, been there, done that when it comes to embarrassing faces. Nothing that I do moving forward could possibly be more embarrassing than things from my past. I'm not concerned about it. I got more important things to worry about than stupid shit like that. So there you go. Snow Carl tipped me $1.30 and said, last week you mentioned if you didn't hit the tip skull every stream, you'd be forced to leave some bills unpaid. Did you manage to get a bill bumped or some additional income, or would you be forced to actually leave something unpaid? The good news is I paid the mortgage. I was able to afford the mortgage. It's done. That's okay for the month. But now my next concern is that I just told you guys in 5 days I got to back taxes payment to the feds. That's my major focus this week, is to pay that payment. And then raise enough to actually have a day off on Sunday where I can afford groceries and the like. And then I think either Monday or Tuesday next week I should be getting paid by YouTube, and then I'm in the clear. So that's my focus right now. The good news is with what I raised last week, I was able to pay the mortgage, and now I just got to get past this week, and then I'm in a good situation, or at least a better situation, I should say. Play Cool to me another $1.30 says Shin Megami Tensei 5 is bound to be very dynamic. Excuse me. The way you recruit the demons should be fun for chat, in my opinion, but a bad date of release. A safe approach would be play Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remaster during the summer downtime. All right, we already talked about that. There's absolutely no way I'm playing them back-to-back. No one would care about the new one then if I did that. Max, to me $1.30, and says Cyberpunk 2077 is returning to the PS5 store next week. It's been announced with updates included. You're getting it. Finishing your playthrough? What do you mean finishing? I beat the whole game. I did the whole game, and I did all the major side missions that were available at the time. There's nothing else to do in the game besides waste my time in an unfinished, broken, boring world. The game is a terrible failure. It's not entertaining in any way, shape, or form. The promises of the game devs were not lived up to. All they've done in the last 6 months is patch the game so it doesn't crash as much and have as many bugs. They haven't dramatically improved anything. They've added no new content to the game. The game sucks shit. Alright? You want to watch my playthrough, go ahead. It's a full playthrough. I did the companion quest lines and everything. I did all of them that I could that were available to me. And the game was not good. I'm just sorry, it just wasn't. It's not a good game. If you think I'm actually going to go back and buy that game again, you may be out of your mind. An Irishman tipped me $1.30 and says, who's your favorite Tekken character and why? I would argue it's a tie. Paul Phoenix is the character who I've played with the longest and actually done the best with competitively in the franchise. I think that he's a kind of a badass character. He's an American biker. His smashing kind of gameplay. It's funny because he actually does follow an actual martial art, but a lot of his moves just look badass. Big hammer fucking fist and pound your ass into the ground, right? And I do like his style of gameplay where it's based on counter hits that do like giant damage versus other characters that are more, oh, I want to get you with a little intricate, dainty hit, but for some reason it launches you 47 feet into the sky, and now I hit you 17 more times, 18 more times, then you hit on the ground, then I juggle you off the ground and hit you more. Paul Phoenix is like, wow, you just did all that work? Look at this, charging hammer fist, 50% damage to you. So, I do like Paul Phoenix. But also, King. I like King because he's supposed to be a wrestler. I don't know if he's necessarily like a luchador style, but he's a wrestler. He's got a lot of cool, wrestling moves, but he's also a powerhouse style character where he has a lot of grapples. What I liked back in the day were King's chain grapples. That was incredibly unique back in the day, that he was a character who could do chain grapple, grab and then type in more buttons, variate it to a different grab, type it again, another variation grab to do additional damage. That was really fun back in the day. Now, today, not so much, and now most people can just get out of those grabs easily, but back in the day, that was super cool in the arcades. Here I am grabbing you, and there goes 80% of your life bar because I did a chain grab and you couldn't break out of it. So I would say both King and Paul are my favorites. I don't really have a definitive choice between the two. I like them both. Sweet Muffin tipped $1.30 and says, do you think a lot of people within the United States are believing the coronavirus pandemic has passed and ignoring usual measures is right or wrong? Listen, we're never going to be out of the woods. This is a thing I've been saying since this thing started. This is going to be just like every other viral outbreak, the flu or whatever. This is going to be something we have to get used to. We have to now, it's not a matter of we've defeated coronavirus. It's a matter of we've learned to live with coronavirus, right? The flu is never going away either. The flu will be here. There'll be seasons where it gets bad and people get sick and die from it. It's inevitable. The thing is finding procedures we can follow to negate the negative impact of these viruses that come back and have these waves and ebbs, right? So let me put it this way. If someone's fully vaccinated and they're following the CDC guidelines and they're meeting without a mask, that's okay, right? But if there's people out there, they didn't get vaccinated, and now they think, now I can not wear a mask, I'm not going to wash my hands, I'm going to start gathering groups again, I'm just going to go back to life as it was. They're just going to fucking make it worse for themselves and everyone else around them. And, I hate to say it, some people just learn things the hard way. Like, they're so hard-headed. Some people just, we have to learn the hard way. We can't actually listen to experts. We don't believe shit, which is conspiracy theorist nut jobs. We must learn the hard way. So until they actually get sick with coronavirus and end up in the hospital, they'll never believe that it actually existed. They'll never believe that it's actually a threat. They'll never realize that doing these very, very common things, wear a mask, wash your hands, that's no big deal. Yes, do it then. If it's, you know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me that these people think that way. Okay? Now, it's this simple, all right? In America, at least, I don't think we're ever going to have a situation where it's going to be like, well, show me you were vaccinated or you can't do anything major. That's never going to happen. Businesses are not going to be carding people for vaccinations or whatever. And because of that, we need to basically trust our neighbors to do the right thing. That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought to me, that when I go out, like yesterday I was out with Kat, I'd argue that out of all the people out there, 50% have masks on and 50% don't here in Washington State. I find it very hard to believe that the 50% that don't have a mask on all were fully vaccinated. I just do. I find it hard to believe. I get the feeling there's some people that are now like, well, it's over. I can just do whatever I want, And it's a scary thought that sadly we could all get sick again from this thing because people aren't doing the right thing. At the very same time, you would hope that the vaccinations are going to work, but at the same time, do you guys realize the vaccinations aren't foolproof and that they could last or they could lose their effectiveness over time? I think a lot of people are forgetting that. Same thing with the flu virus. You take a vaccine for the flu, it basically just covers you for that flu season, then you need to get another one. Just because people got vaccinated doesn't mean it's over forever. We're going to have to keep getting booster shots or more vaccines in the future. This isn't the end at all. See? But I'm not going to sit here and talk about it forever. All I'm going to say is thus. Please do the right thing. If you haven't been vaccinated, please don't go out there and act like you are. Please don't take the risk for yourself, for everyone around you, your loved ones. Don't be stupid. Don't believe these moron conspiracy theorists on the internet who want to fill your head with bullshit. And then you go out there and you do the wrong thing and now we all suffer because of it. Because that's why we were in the situation we were in. How bad this thing was spreading and how many people died. Because people are stupid and they don't listen. They just want to believe whatever they want to believe. And sadly, our government is so focused on, individual freedoms that look at the situation we got to, right? So please do the right thing. Please use a little bit of restraint, okay? And get vaccinated if you can. And if you're not vaccinated, continue to use the procedures recommended. It's that simple. Okay. Only Ice Coffee to me $1.30 says, have you ever seen the movie American Beauty? If you have any thoughts on it. Oh, I haven't seen that movie in a million years. I saw it probably when it was like a newer movie. But I couldn't even tell you what it's about at this point. I have no recollection. It's been that long. Wasn't it the movie where like Kevin Spacey was losing his mind because his wife was cheating on him and his family life was falling apart? So doesn't he become like a brutal murderer by the end of the movie or something? I think. I can't remember. I think that's what it was. Jad F tipped me $1.30. He says Game Pass games, June 22nd, D&D Dark Alliance, Baldur's Gate Successor. July 27th, Microsoft Flight Sim. See, I want to play that game. July 29th, The Ascent, an ARPG with cyberpunk themes. August 13th, Hades. That's cool. I think I want to play Hades. August 19th, 12 Minutes. I definitely am playing 12 Minutes no matter what. August 25th, Psychonauts 2. So there's just in the next 2 months, there's a significant amount of games that are coming under Game Pass that are good games that I'm interested in playing. I would say Microsoft Flight Simulator, Hades, 12 Minutes, and Psychonauts 2 are all games that I'm interested in that are under Game Pass. So right there, that would save me a ton of money. Sadly, I don't have a Series X, so I'd have to play them on Xbox One. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to think. Is there anything else that I want to cover? By the way, that's all the shout. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. There was a super chat. I'm so sorry. I missed the super chat. It happened much earlier, and I was busy ranting and raving about how bad E3 was, and I missed the super chat. Hold on a second. Shout out to B Fantastic, who did a $10 super chat earlier. Thanks so much, man. He says, during tonight's game schedule, when you're looking through, can you go to the PlayStation's network store on the PS5 and look at some PlayStation games coming up for pre-order? A lot of us who don't have a PS5 would like to see that. What? Can't you just do that online? Like, what are you talking about? You just, right now, there's public listings online. Why do you need me to go through my dashboard to do that? That's a little confusing. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through all the games. Why would I only go through PS5? I'm going to try to go through all the games listings during the break and see what games are coming out and make a list and then go through that tonight. And we can talk about those games individually. Okay? Play Cool to be another $1.30 says the whole thing with Biden versus Trump made me aware how divided America is and how dangerously a big chunk of them think and easily are led astray. It's something you guys really have to overcome someday, and cheers to a better future. Yeah. Listen, it's weird because I think I actually have more perspective on something like this than most people. Because for a very long period of time, I've been involved with a group of people who won't leave me alone, who stalk me on the internet, and who literally on a daily basis just make shit up and then spin it as truth. And they have this crazy cult-like group that believe that shit because they just say it's true. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've been involved with a cult-like group of people for many years who just talk shit about me and make shit up about me with zero evidence, but they just do it, and because they all say it publicly, they believe it's factual. That's literally what things like QAnon and other things are. These people are nuts. They just believe what they want to fucking believe, and because a large group of people say it's true, they believe it's true with no actual evidence. It's insanity. But this is how these people act, you know. So, it's that simple, okay? And, yeah, in America, it's pretty crazy that people just go on the internet and see a bunch of things, and now they believe everything that someone says or a group says, or, you know, and it becomes this crazy. I mean, can you believe what happened in January happened at the Capitol? The insanity. That was the epitome of what happens when you let people have unlimited freedoms, right? Unchecked. And then people take advantage of it, right? It's exactly what it was. Let's take these weak-minded idiots and make them believe anything. And then they'll do crazy shit. I don't know, man. Our country, that obviously that was a scary thing, man. That was a scary-ass fucking thing. But, you know what? Most of those people are in jail right now. So, maybe they'll learn their fucking lesson. That this isn't, that the real world isn't a schoolyard playground where you can just fuck around with people's lives and do shit like that, you know? Enough is enough. Time to grow up and be responsible fucking adults and stop drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say. But anyway, it is what it is. That's all America for now. Hopefully things will get better over time. You know, you guys stop the, as they say, stop the insanity, right? Okay. Anything else, guys, or are we good? Because we're going to go on a brief break here. I'll use the restroom. And when I come back, we will start up with Fallout New Vegas. Now, by the way, Jasper Kitty is in the office today. He's asleep on the floor. He's been behaving, which I'm blown away that he's behaving, because usually he doesn't. Okay? So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If he behaves, he can stay in here. Maybe he'll be showing up and jumping on the chair and being silly. I just can't have him chewing wires. And that's the problem, is the last week he was able to be in this office during the daytime streams and he wouldn't behave. I couldn't have him chewing wires and electrocute himself and get hurt. So if he starts acting up again, I'm going to have to toss him out. I don't want to. I like having him in here. It's cool having him in here and being able to chill with me. But he has to, you know, relax a bit here. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually going to open the window in my bedroom to create some air circulation through the house. And I think that'll cool the office down a little bit, even without the air conditioner being on. And then maybe he'll just relax here with me. I guess we'll find out. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for your support so far. Let's take a brief break. When I come back from this break, it'll be Fallout New Vegas chill. It'll be good time together. Continuing on. Remember, we had I think we're on the west side of New Vegas. We haven't entered the city yet, but we went into an underground arena. And I don't actually remember what's in the arena. We're going to check it out, see if we can figure out if there's questing in there or whatever. And go from there. Okay? All right. No, Sanitary Accident, I do not believe second month subs are live yet. We're at 181 subs, and I haven't seen that dip. You would think that it would be a dip because people have to renew. And I haven't seen anything like that yet. Only Ask Coffee is soon. Mine's resting at 29 days. I think the subs are 30 days, right? So that means maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow is our first day of 2 months memberships here on YouTube. Okay. All right, guys. Take this opportunity, grab a drink or snack, use the restroom yourselves. I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll get started with Fallout New Vegas. Cool? All right, I'll see you in a few. Thanks, guys.